This time on StandardBred. A new breeding season equals big spending and budgeting the outflow of funds.
It is hard work trying to get a stallion down in New Zealand, down the bottom, to be fair.
There are some value options when considering stallions.
Why don't I offer breeders the opportunity of paying when they qualify or sold?
But are they viable in the long run?
Washington has left 26 Group 1 winners, which in my wildest dreams I didn't think would happen.
StandardBred is supported by a stable of key players in the New Zealand standardbred breeding and racing industries. It's touted as the sport of kings for good reason. It's not cheap to run racehorses. Is there still money in it?
If you sell them, there's sort of, unless you've got a real good one, there's no money in racing them.
The industry caters for the top end breeder, the top end racehorses with the top end stakes and everything.
Harness racing thrives on value for money when cost measured beside the elite sport it came from.
My aim and the syndicate's aim is to make it affordable for breeders in Southland.
Today's stake monies don't make it the man like they might have.
You don't make any money at it, to be fair.
Right.
But it was all right if you've bred a heap of horses, but just as long as we cover costs, really.
In the standardbred game, Thrift is a skill prospectors need lots of. What's your magic figure for selling your superstar racehorses again?
Yeah, probably about 2,500. I think we sold Mighty Khan, Happy Asset and the Mighty Quinn, all out of that family.
You've got to spend money to make money. But $2.5 grand, and that's not a lot of horse feed, is it?
No, that doesn't pay many bills, that's for sure.
So how do you read that now? I suppose at the time it was a bit hard to take, was it? Or?
No, well, look, at the time that was probably the value.
Standardbred breeders in the south of New Zealand are certainly traditional and may have coined some or all of those make a profit prophecies. Maybe that what goes around comes around approach has helped the legendary southern racehorse live on. What's your percentage of hobby breeders versus commercial in South? And you think, is it 50-50 split? Or?
Oh no, 75% hobby breeders, it's 25% commercial.
So what, they just don't want to make money out of it?
No, they want racehorses.
So they'll sell them as racehorses if
They'll sell them as racehorses.
Keith and Tracy Norman's Briley Stud, close to Gore in Southland, New Zealand, is home for possibly the province's last live on-farm standardbred stallion. In his early 20s now, Washington VC replaced and replicated, at least, his predecessor, Son of a Fella.
I was on the lookout for a stallion. Son of a Fella was coming to the end of his siren career, getting a wee bit older. He was 23 at the time. And I was on the lookout for a stallion, and from hundreds of stallions, or more or less, that got offered to me, Washington was our pick.
And why was that?
I was after a very good racehorse of average size or below, and cheap enough for me to buy. So he had just won the Adios, pulled up lame afterwards, was spelling in the paddock, and we made inquiries. He was on the market, so we had him fertility tested and bought him. Well, the first year we got for real, got us off to a very good start. That's Sid Brown's horse. She's a very good filly. The next good filly was Itzella, and then we progressed from there to Mighty Quinn. The Southland mares were more or less a generation behind the American mares, which was the case in those days. He has got 45 winners out of Holmes Hanover Mares Washington and 31 out of Soki's mares.
So he was brilliant for that albatross line, and you were conscious of that?
Yes.
You thought that was your theory?
It was my theory, and it did work out luckily. Washington has left 26 Group 1 winners, which in my wildest dreams I didn't think would happen. He doesn't leave small stock, he can leave big stock, but he's a bit like Bettor's Delight, exactly the same actually. Bettor's Delight, small stallion, leaves fillies, colts, big horses, small horses, we're not in the same category as Betters Delight, but similar stallions, and they can leave big ones or small ones.
Now, you were saying that at the time you were looking for a replacement for Son of a Fella.
Yes.
I suppose Washington's almost at that point now. Are you going to kick on?
Not game enough to invest that much money in a new stallion. It's very tricky nowadays. Most stallions are actually owned overseas and just come here for the breeding season, so I don't think I'm brave enough to go again. We'll just use transport seamen.
As soon as the carrot arrives, he arrives.
Washington, hopefully, he's 21 years old. Son of a Fella continued in the barn until he was 24. Fingers crossed, 3 more years.
He's the same colour and size as Betters Delight, and even the world's greatest sire wouldn't turn his nose up at progeny the likes of Mighty Quinn, For Real, or even more latterly, Dash of Luck. The stud fees, though, are like comparing RD4 seafoods with sterling sea caviar.
Very happy for the loyal support of the Southlanders that went to him, and set me and Tracy up for life sort of thing.
Like to know more about racing or breeding standardbreds? Find the New Zealand Standardbred Breeders on Facebook or go to the Breeders website.
A rock and roll dance is 2 lengths clear.
A rock and roll dance, a multiple world record holder, the richest 2-year-old of his year, the winner of the Meadowlands Pace at 3.
A rock and roll dance, 148-1 in the Meadowlands Pace.
His first 2-year-olds are now here. He's now one of the leading first season sires in North America and is now set to make his mark on the racetracks of New Zealand. Simply no other sire is better positioned for the future.
Woodlands stud, celebrating 25 years of world-class breeding. In the 2017 season, Pegasus Spur's daughter, Wilma's Mate, was a standout trotter in Australasia.
But it's Wilma's Mate past the 200-metre mark. 1.5 lengths, Gentleman Sir, then Dark Horse, but Wilma's Mate, she's powering clear. 2 lengths on Gentleman Sir, and then Dark Horse. Wilma's Mate, though, it's been an up-and-down week for Davey Budd, but it ends on a high.
Pegasus Spur, standing at Woodlands stud.
Speed. You know it when you see it.
This horse is definitely the fastest. You know, he can just absolutely fly.
He's watching an undefeated US 2-year-old of the year who returned at 3 to win the Meadowlands Pace in world record time. He's watching is now siring Outstanding Foals. Book your mare today. He's watching, standing at Alabar.
Terra to Love is storming home. The 4-year-old Terra to Love and Jimmy Curtin won it. Here's Terra to Love again. Terra to Love comes at them. Terra to Love won the cup. It is still Terra to Love. He's going to do it. It is the greatest cup win of all time. The Gold Cup of Ricky May has won the greatest race you will ever see.
Standardbred is supported by a stable of key players in the New Zealand standardbred breeding and racing industries. Southern standardbred breeders might be thrifty and traditional, but they're not stupid.
It's hard work trying to get a stallion down in New Zealand, down the bottom, to be fair.
It's part of why the iconic Southland racehorse didn't stop with Cardigan Bay or Young Quinn, and won't with the Mighty Quinn either.
Like, you really got to have a big budget and that doesn't guarantee you're going to get there either. But we didn't want to expose ourselves that we go broke, bring the stallion over here, and it's a lot of money involved, and then you don't get patronised, and then you're down the gurgler basically, so it's a good way of getting rid of a lot of money in a hurry. Yeah.
The Kiwi number 8 wire approach stretches quite a ways if you let it, even into once considered no-go zones for conservatives. Live on-land stallions, like Washington VC, are making way for ice buckets bringing frozen semen from all corners of the world to rugged, real-world country.
I've heard of guys that wouldn't buy frozen yearlings at sales because they're by frozen stallions, and then got their eyes popped open when they actually got a nice one, you know.
Yeah. Frozen semen comes with extra handling expenses, but also with its efficiencies. The choices are global, costs and risks of live animal management almost non-existent.
Yeah, it's a bit more expensive to breed them for vet fees and that sometimes if you've got hard ones, but that's about it. But its advantages are your mare's ready to rock and roll and it's right there, straight in. And you know, you don't miss them. So by deep horning, you go and put them right on the right in the sweet spot, and you only have to use half the dose.
Brent McIntyre doesn't do much spreadsheet business planning. Make a Lodge gets more roll-up-the-sleeves management.
Right, it might be a bit of a mess there, so I'll just chuck some of it off.
Whether it's the land or servicing its clients' prime standard-bred progeny, it stretches to providing stallions, or at least their services.
That all happened because of John Stiven. He said to me one day, "You should be standing a stallion." And then he said,
and you said, "You're right, are you?"
Yeah, and then he rang me up one day and, "Hey, I got one over here in this book. You come have a look at it."
Yeah, well, Mark O'Connor and I went with Mac over to the States to see the folk that own Pan Pacific Flight, and that was just a great trip and gave us a huge insight into what happens over there.
Is that because Southlanders want to do their own thing a wee bit, or they want to get something down here?
Well, I think that was just an occasion that arose out of a bit of a chat like this with Mac, and I just said to him, "Are you ever going to get your own stallion one day?" And he says, "Oh, keep your eye out, and if you see something, let us know." Yeah. And well, that was an invitation for me to do a wee bit more SWAT.
Probably shouldn't be on TV this, but if you ever deal with Americans, make sure you get it signed and sealed, because if you're dealing with someone, they'll nail you to the floor, you know. So anyway, as it turned out, I rang this guy up, and well, he actually rang me because I couldn't ring him. As it turned out, he was an Amish fella.
So was that the cunning plan all along, or is it one of those Southland approaches? Well, we'll just see what happens.
No, it was just Kiwi number 8 wire. It just happened. It just happened. I don't know how it worked, but yeah, it just happened.
And I didn't actually know what Amish was, to be up there, so except what you see in the movies. But anyway, I said to him, "Oh, do you want to get it all written up and signed and all that?" And he said, no, as long as I get that, that'll be it. So it was a handshake deal over the phone.
So the opposite of your advice?
Absolutely, yeah.
And no problem?
Not a problem.
Right. Your numbers, you were saying, they're probably not good enough, are they?
They're not good enough if you're ever going to hit that top shelf. But I mean, in saying that, you still got to leave a horse that can get there to get you on the map. And that's the big thing, isn't it? So, and so you got to have a freaky good stallion to do that. Numbers wise, we've got 35 to them, 36, and which is, you know, as I said in the past, we're only getting around 20, and I'd probably have half the mares. So it gives you an indication how good we're going.
So you're going to have to come up with the new champion.
So this year I'm only, it's hard work. Well, John gives a help. That was a hard case thing. When I come back, John's good at giving you advice on where to send your good mares to. Because he studies things up pretty good, and he's telling me where I should be sending my nice mares, and he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I'm sending my nice ones to Pans, because if I can't send them there, I can't ask anyone else to send them there." You're right. Right, you can have...
Arden this and Arden that.
Yeah, no, we got his good mare, Winter Rose, and that's how he got Arden's Choice, and she won third in the Woodlands Cup this year.
So she's the flagship at the moment.
Exactly.
It's not a bad flagship.
No, not a bad one, no.
He's now at a stage where people in New Zealand know who Pan Pacific Flight is. Australians are ringing up wanting to book their mares to him, but his semen's only available here. So they'll hopefully come to the sales and bid on them because they've had pretty good success over there. And with what's happened in New Zealand, 2 runners in the Auckland Cup, one of them running 3rd, not bad off 30 foals.
Some of Pan's closest relatives include global super sire Art Major and poster boy Captain Treacherous. His percentages prove he's more than just a poor cousin for your poor cousin.
So has it gone the way you thought it might? Or has it been harder than you thought, or easier?
Well, there was more money when I started than sheep farming, let's put it that way, and it hasn't changed really. That's why we're here. We just had a guts for sheep farming, so the opportunity came to have a go at this, so that's what we did. But I was just a hobby trainer, broke a few horses in for people and things like that, and then this place came available. So, and I was looking for a bigger place because my son was becoming older and looking for a bigger place so we farmed together, but this come along, so why not have a go at this? So that's how it's evolved really, and so 10 years later, I'm not an expert, but I've got a fair idea what goes on.
To join the harness racing and breeding conversation, you can make contact with your StandardBred breeders associations across New Zealand.
Speed. You know it when you see it.
This horse is definitely the fastest. You know, he can just absolutely fly.
He's watching an undefeated US 2-year-old of the year who returned at 3 to win the Meadowlands pace in world record time. He's watching is now siring outstanding foals. Book your mare today. He's watching, standing at Alabar.
Always be fast, always be tough, always be great, always be Mickey. Alabar and Neveliar are proud to introduce Always Be Mickey, the fastest horse of all time. From the Western Ideal sire line and out of the reigning US Broodmare of the Year, who was by Arts Place. From his first start at the Meadowlands as a 2-year-old through his 30-win career, Always Be Mickey's deeds on the racetrack make him one of the greatest racehorses of all time. Always Be Mickey.
American Ideal returns again to New Zealand's leading standardbred stud Woodlands for the 2017 season. Here is his champion New Zealand daughter, the Orange Agent, securing another Group 1 victory.
On the outside, Piccadilly Princess, the lone danger if there's one. The Orange Agent, she's pulling out plenty. On the outside, Piccadilly Princess, or put in a late drive. No, she's a special agent. She's the Orange Agent.
American Ideal, standing at Woodlands Stud.
Terra to Love is storming home. The 4-year-old Terra to Love and Jimmy Curtin won it. Here's Terra to Love again. Terra to Love comes at them. Terra to Love won the cup. It is still Terra to Love. He's going to do it. It is the greatest cup win of all time. The Gold Cup of Ricky May has won the greatest race you will ever see.
Noel Kennard's alternative with his approach to horse racing. Actually, he sorts his shed a bit all sorts.
Oh, and I know what, rather than patting him...
You're going to prod him.
Yeah, I want a bloody brush. We only got 50,000 of the bastards.
Would you say that you have a natural empathy with the underdog then in terms of breeders? You seem to be going into bat for them or trying to create opportunities for them, first and foremost.
That would follow, yes.
So why?
I suppose because that's where I am. I suppose I'm sort of in the same position. I suppose as an argument is that the industry is there to look after the top end and to reward the top end, but should it be doing that at the expense of the general worker out there who can't afford $30-ish thousand to have a horse and work on their own for a year? Atta boy, come on now, come on.
Noel's been around the sport 40 years. Much of the history reel for racing, pre-TV channel days, was recorded by his video companies. He serves the sport and the underdog almost to a fault.
You overhear so many people saying, and in general conversations, we need more people in the industry, we need more people in the industry. You know, more punters, more punters, more punters, and more horses on the track. The cost of having a horse in work nowadays precludes a lot of people.
From mass ownership syndicates for racehorses to multicoloured pens and pads to push stallions, he's had a go at it for the greater good of the game.
This may sound sexist, I don't know, but I think behind the scenes a lot of the Joe Blow breeders are dictated to what they breed by their wife, and the wife may say, no, I'm not having you breeding any more bloody horses. And I thought, right. So I hunted around and I found a grey horse with a direct scooter sire line. In theory was then supposed to work with all our meadow skipper, etc. mares. The intention was that the wife would say, "You're not breeding to any of those damn stallions." Ah, but except that grey one.
Many of the grey paces around New Zealand lately are sons and daughters of Klondike Kid, but even more and better trotters are by Monkey Bones.
He was one of the success stories in my mind. Yep, worked for me, worked for the breeders, and worked for the budget. Stallions have a lot of stallions have an instinct of they'll bite, and once they grab you, yeah, they've got you.
Never look a gift horse in the mouth, especially in a sport where you pays your money and takes your chances.
So I thought, right, why don't I offer breeders the opportunity of paying on live foal or paying when they qualify or sold?
By taking on all of the risk around breeding a bona fide racehorse, he's batting for the battler yet again with his new horse, Prodigal Sealster.
I can solve it. Here we go.
He's free, but he's sort of free to have a go at.
Yes, yes. Right, it's advertised service fee is $3,250. If you don't want to pay that, that's on a 42-day positive test. If you don't want to pay that, you can pay $3,500 when your foal qualifies. And if you don't want to do that, you can pay $4,000 when you sell the horse.
And if the horse doesn't turn out any good at all?
Nothing more. That's the end of it. The whole industry only ever sells the semen, as it were, and everybody's always got to pay for the costs of getting the mare and foal. I will actually ship it around the country at my expense as well, though.
So why would you take that on?
Why do I do it? It basically to try and get numbers to the stallion, to give the stallion a chance, and may sound daft, but it's my way of being able to do something for the average breeder just like myself. Come on. I think it's virtually now at the stage where the horse is about to speak for himself. Prior, we've most probably never had a booking until October, say. Now, we've already had people contacting us and say, we're hearing from so-and-so and so-and-so, they've got a very nice individual, we would like to book in. So it's actually achieved, from one aspect, it's achieved its aim there. He's obviously enjoying it and wanting me to push into it.
And what are your hopes for Prodigal Sealster?
That for the Joe Blogg breeder who is bred to him, to see them with successful results on the track, to vindicate their decision to come and support me. Yeah, so it's for them, not for me.
Budgets are generally tighter again this breeding season. For pencil sharpeners, the stallion options are plenty outside of the $25,000 for Bettor's Delight, $12,000 for Art Major, somewhere in between for Some Beach and his superstar son. Important to ponder, is reasonable value worth the risk in the end? Because, quoting the StandardBred sages, they all cost the same once they hit the ground.
The Mighty Quinn, he was out of a Sockies mare, out of a Knowing Brett mare. Well, the mare I bought by Sockies out of a Hilarious Way mare, out of a super family. And I actually bought her to go to Washington. I know you people probably think I'm mad, but it's duplicating across its work for me, and it is a very, very precocious family. If it's good blood, it'll last. I've got a filly which I was delighted about. It won't be leaving the place. A lovely filly, and yeah, I know I'm very happy about that. So she's and the old mare's actually in foal to Bettor's Delight now. So it's another Cam Fella line stallion. So where Washington is too.
Perhaps the ones that want to aim at the yearling sales and get 100,000 plus don't go to them. But in saying that, there was only one Washington in the sale last year, and it got 45,000 out of a 22-year-old mare.
Breeding for the yearling sales is very difficult, but the studs who have to bring sires in, that's a commercially very big risk. The cost of the stallions being shuttled is going out of the country, but the New Zealand bred ones, if they make it, that money will be staying in the country, and the stud people will have the chance of buying another New Zealand bred sire or giving another New Zealand bred sire a chance.
Tick value for money then, but prepare for some serious homework.
I've actually sent my Washington mare to Pan Pacific flight, and it's in foal too. So I'm being loyal to them.
I think there are a heck of a lot of hardcore people out there who do love the industry. To them it's not an industry, it's a sport, so they love that sport and they are committed to continuing on.
Goes without saying, in harness racing, hard work and homework is where the heart is. It's a big part of producing stars of the racetrack, year after year, decade on decade. Next time on StandardBred. A bona fide equine champion of world harness racing takes his leave.
Good boy.
As one of the StandardBred world's brightest stars steps away, the man responsible for creating him gets an introduction.
Incredibly proud to be the breeder, incredibly proud.